All right, guys, let us go ahead and start. And again, welcome everyone to our virtual open session of this hour, and thank you so much for joining. Let us go ahead and make sure that our notifications won't distract us from the discussion later on. Please go to the lower right corner of your screen and click on the gear icon. And if you see notification settings, please make sure that all the boxes are not checked or blank or unticked so that it won't let all the other notifications pop up on your screen and blocking the visuals in the discussion. All right, could you please give me a thumbs up when you are able to do that, or if you're done doing that, just to be sure that we can move on smoothly. Thank you so much, Hanani. Very fast. And Antonio too. Thank you, Abin. Fahad, thank you. And Anki as well. And the others, thank you so much, guys, for being so cooperative. All right, let's go ahead and continue on. So thank you for joining our virtual open week. And now we will be talking about postgraduate programs overview. And it will be presented again by Jason Gabriel, our higher education manager for learning support. If you had joined the session earlier for the undergraduate programs, he's still the same person who would be discussing this with you. And please note that for recordings and slides of these sessions, we will be sending that out to you in the next 2 business days. So rest assured that you will have a copy of these. Please monitor your junk folder as well to be sure that you won't be missing any emails from us. Thank you so much, and I will give you now to Jason.
Hello, everyone. Hoping you can all hear me well, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the postgraduate session, which is, of course, excluding our Doctorate of Engineering for this occasion. But thank you for joining us and being available to go through this session. Great to see some of our current students in Hanani here, who's one of our bachelor students. So great to have you in this session. Familiar name that I saw pop up in the chat box. So welcome to you and to everyone. So there are 3 courses that we're going to talk about today that are in EIT's postgraduate course category. So firstly, graduate certificate. So the graduate certificate is available in the civil engineering structural field, industrial automation, mechanical engineering, and the safety, risk, and reliability field. So they're the 4 we currently have available. The graduate certificate is designed as a short course, effectively. So if you do it full time, it will take 6 months. So you will have 2 study periods, and I'll explain what the study periods are. So you would complete the 4 units in total, which is made up, which make up the graduate certificates. Those 4 units come from the Master of Engineering course that effectively correlates with these categories or these subdisciplines, but there are 4 units, and you would do 2 of them in the first term and 2 in the second term. So the term is what we call our study period for postgraduate. So each term consists of 12 study weeks or teaching weeks, and there's no breaks in between. So the terms, we have 4 terms in a calendar year. And as you can imagine, if there are 12 teaching weeks or in those terms, it doesn't leave very much room for breaks. So the breaks will effectively be in the middle of the year. So there'll be 1 week after term 2, before term 3, and then of course at the end of the year there are 2 weeks after term 4 finishes. the only other week to make up out of the 52 is an orientation week, the first week of January. So the terms are what make up our postgraduate courses, or these three that we're going to discuss today, and they're quite busy, as you can probably tell. 12 teaching weeks, all in a row, and once you finish term one, you go straight into term two. So that means that the units will never cross over. So the units aren't taught in every study period as well, just so that we have time to make sure we can do our reporting and grade approval at the end. So the units run every second study period. So it allows you to go straight into the next two units, no matter what the outcome is of the previous term, and then obviously complete your course, or continue to complete your course. So the maximum time frame you have to complete a graduate certificate is 3 years. So you have 3 years to complete. So if you wanted, you could take one unit at a time, if that's is what may be more comfortable for you. If you're studying online, you can make sure it fits in with your other working and personal requirements. So hopefully hopefully you're pretty clear on what they are, and we'll discuss that shortly. I'm just hoping my voice is clear at the moment. Harun, I've just seen Harun's message. Hopefully my voice is clear for everyone else. It might just be his potentially his connection. So thanks, Lisa. The other course, or the next course we have, is a graduate diploma of engineering. So again, it comes in the civil structural, electrical systems, mechanical, and industrial automation subdisciplines. Now, the graduate diploma is 8 units in total. Again, you can take a maximum of 2 units each term, or you can take as little as 1. You can these will be completed over the 4 terms, so one year if you decide to do 2 units per study period. So the graduate diploma is effectively the first 8 units of the master course. So the difference between a graduate diploma and the graduate certificate is the graduate certificate is made up of a few different units from the master course, but the graduate diploma is the first 8 of the master course. So yeah, just to note that they are the differences. And again, the study period is 12 weeks or 12 teaching weeks in the term with no breaks again. So with the graduate diploma, you have a maximum of 4 years to complete that. So maximum of 4 years to complete the graduate diploma. And then that makes up, again, as I mentioned, it makes up the first year of the related master degree. So if you decide to start the graduate certificate, if those units that are in your graduate certificate fall in the same subdiscipline, so for example, if you choose to do industrial automation and you successfully complete that, and then you choose to do the graduate diploma, you choose to do obviously the industrial automation again. If the units you've completed in the graduate certificate, you will be able to receive credit into the graduate diploma course. If you then decide to go on to the master, again, which I'll just change slides, you complete the graduate certificate, you complete the graduate diploma, and then you decide, okay, let's do the Master of Engineering in Industrial Automation. Again, you'll get credit for all the units that you've already completed, and then you'll obviously be required to just complete the rest. Now, the Master of Engineering is obviously in the subdisciplines of industrial automation, mechanical, electrical systems, and civil structural. There are 13 units in the Master of Engineering course, and this includes your final thesis, which is the 13th unit. It also includes some hands-on practical workshop units and some professional or work experience or internship experience units as well, or unit, I should say. Again, you can take a maximum of 2 units per term or study period, and that's 8 over the full year. You can take less if you'd like. You can take 1 if you prefer. The thesis, though, the final project thesis, that takes place over 2 terms. So effectively that equals a semester. So 2 terms, so 24 weeks will be the final thesis. So that's just the only difference once you get to the end of the Master of Engineering course. As I mentioned again, the same structure with the term. It's 12 teaching weeks in a row, and then you move on to the next study period. Now, you get 5 years, a maximum of 5 years to complete the Master of Engineering course. So it's, again, important to note that you can take less units if you'd like. It depends on your personal circumstances at the time, but 5 years is the maximum. I want to just go back to the workshop and the professional or internship or experience units required for completion of the Master of Engineering course. So the practical hands-on workshop units and the work experience units, we understand that a lot of you may have or may be already working in the industry. So what we encourage you to do is apply for recognition of prior learning, or RPL, for those units, because there's a good chance you may have already completed the requirements of those units. So if you'd like to do that, reach out to our HE support team or higher education support team when you are enrolled for your course, and they can provide you all the relevant information. But it's really important that you know and understand and complete the workshop, hands-on workshop, and the professional experience units, because in order to be able to be eligible to graduate from the course, you will have to complete these units as well. So these units are 0 credit units, so they are not, you don't get enrolled into them in the study periods, they just sit on the outside. So it's really important for you to know what they are and how to complete them. So that's the only difference, or the special part to the Master of Engineering courses. Okay, next really important and unique part of EIT's higher education department is the learning support officers. So the learning support officers are based around the world. So here in Perth with me, they're based in Melbourne, they're based in South Africa, and then we have a team member based in the UK. So we cover most time zones. So whenever you reach out to someone, they should be able to respond to you, but if not, they will obviously be able to respond to you when they return to the office the next day. But the learning support officers are quite unique in that if you go to a university, the lecturer is responsible for the teaching and all the administration behind it, behind the unit. But at EIT, the teacher or the lecturer does all the teaching and the marking, all the administration, which includes the information below, assessment extensions, for example. That's all done by the learning support officer. So they are there to help you with anything effectively non-technical with regards to the unit. So that may be, for example, the live tutorial information, how to find that, assessment dates and times, they'll provide those to you. They provide reminders when assessments are going to be due. They'll be able to approve or give you information on assessment extensions against our policy, units and assessment grade information, or when that's been released. So they'll give you notifications surrounding that. And then, of course, any help with regards to our learning support, our learning management system, Moodle. We also have a student support services team. Now, they would look after anything not related to your course. So, for example, if you might need some help with some time management, they would be the people to talk to. So they try to hold support workshops through the study period and put that out to students in case you'd like to join them. They pop recordings on the specific Moodle page for that, but it's more so to help you with regards to what you might need help with for your course effectively. So like I mentioned, time management, it might be study techniques or revision techniques, all those things. So the other part they can provide guidance on is maybe some health and wellbeing information. So, if you're having a difficult time, they might be able to point you in the direction of, people you might be able to speak to. So, just leads me to a bit of a disclaimer that our student support services team and our learning support team are in by no means professionals in their field. So, they're not medical experts or um, mental health experts in any capacity. So they can only guide you on maybe a place or a website you might be able to find more information. So please know that because it's really important. They will be able to help and guide as best as possible, but they may not be able to solve potentially the issue that you have. So they'll be able to provide you, information on where you can go to potentially seek more information, whether that be medical or otherwise. Before we go on to our software, just checking in if there's any questions that anyone has. Yes, Charles, just reading your question there, that's correct. So in the 12 weeks, you can take, which is the study period or the term, you will be enrolled in, you can be enrolled in a maximum of 2 units or as little as 1. And you would be required to complete all the assessments and requirements for those units within that time. So everything is not mostly spaced out. There are a couple of um, assessments that may be due close-ish together, but yes, that's correct. In the 12 weeks, you'll be enrolled into as many units as you choose to be enrolled into. Okay, let's have a quick look at some of the software we use here at EIT. Now, as with everything in the world at the moment, technology and IT is playing a huge part, and that's no different here at EIT. We have a lot of software that requires you to be able to use, and of course we'll have training and support videos and step-by-steps on how to use the software you can see noted below. But what I would recommend is if you do have difficulties on a computer or a laptop, I really suggest that you maybe do a short course around that, just purely because our software or our course needs you to be able to use a laptop quite proficiently. So understanding where things are or how to get to things is really important. So if you do, find using a laptop or a computer challenging, then please do a separate course that might help you in that department. So we'll start with Moodle. Moodle is our learning management system. So that has all our teaching or unit material, all the learning information for you. It'll have your assessments, it'll have your grades. So that's your main area or main piece of software that you'll have with regards to your course. So we'll give you, you will get information on how to utilize that, but that's really important on completing your assessments, for example, and learning your information. Blackboard, so you're actually within a Blackboard room at the moment. So at the moment we're using Blackboard, but we're investigating other means of live tutorial software. So Blackboard, if you can use the chat, if you access this, okay, this is what for the time being it will be, but if we do have any other software that we potentially use, we can certainly provide information to that to students, but this is where your live tutorial sessions will be. Iris is our invigilation software. So when I say invigilation software, of course, we uh, we have students obviously in an online study capacity. So in order to have an academic integrity for our timed assessments or our quizzes, we ensure just so you know that's within that time frame, you're not having someone sit next to you giving you all the answers. We have what we call the Iris invigilation software, so that effectively will record. You'll set it up and we'll show you how to do that. You'll have your camera recording you and your microphone recording you, but also it'll be your screen being recorded. So we can just quickly go through, just make sure you're not obviously Googling questions or anything like that, and obviously completing the course with a high level of academic integrity. So that will be another piece of software that we utilize to ensure our students are able to complete their assessments during the course. The remote labs, that's where we hold our engineering software. So MATLAB, for example, AutoCAD, those types of software. The remote labs is effectively you can be in your home country and you can log on to a computer that we have set up here in Perth or in South Africa that has the software on it. So you're effectively remotely logging into the lab that has or the laptop that has everything set up for you. So that's a really cool thing that you can do, and that's really beneficial for completing some of the assessments that you'll have during your time with us. The next is the Microsoft Office suite. So as a higher education student, you'll get your own EIT email account. And with that email account, which we use for all your communication, you'll also get online versions of Microsoft Word and Excel, which you can use throughout your course as well. Now, they are online versions, so there are some limitations with them, but they provide you enough to be able to complete your assessments. So if you're typing up a report, for example, you can open that up in the online version and complete whatever you need to for your report. So, but our EIT email account is really important for you to be able to obviously connect with your lecturers and your LSOs, and obviously receive information from us as well. Lastly, Trust is our student management system. So that's where we hold all of your personal and private information. So invoices and contact information, your payment information, and through it you can see a bit of a course progression of your upcoming units. So Trust is we use that basically for information on you as our student. Lastly, I just wanted to give you probably my biggest tip for being successful in the course or your chosen course, say, is that you control your learning. So what you want to get out of the course, you can, and how much motivation and proactiveness you have with regards to your study will mean you'll probably get the same amount out in regards to success. So if you're committed to managing your time and you're obviously going to add this course in to your personal and working requirements, so make sure that you can or you allocate time to the course so that you can complete it successfully. So you control that. You obviously will be applying for the course knowing that you do have other commitments outside of studying. So it'll be your obviously work and your personal commitments. So make sure you're controlling what you need to and getting out of the course what you need to be able to successfully complete. So for example, if you know that the next 6 months is going to be really busy work-wise, communicate to us and say, look, I'd like to take a leave of absence from the course or take a break from the course. I know my work's going to be really busy. I want to come back in 6 months. That's completely fine. you can certainly do that. That's you taking control of your learning and knowing what's coming up for you. So it's really important that you control that yourself, because it's, you put in what you get out what you put in, I should say. And if you can allocate time and effort, then you'll obviously be able to be successful with the course. Okay. I've just seen a couple of questions I might just address. Sorry, Marnie, when you say previous day's software, uh, can you maybe elaborate what you're referring to? I'm not quite sure. That may be from a previous session. So you might have to just chat to those that might have held those sessions, or to reach out to one of the course advisor team. Again, look, great that you're really good with SolidWorks. Depending on the course and depending on the unit, you may use SolidWorks. It may challenge you to learn a new software. So that's one of the cool parts of our course, is that we try to get you accustomed to not just one, but maybe maybe a couple of softwares, so that you are able to use multiple in case you need it. So you may have new software that you will need to learn for the course, but it will be dependent on your course and the unit. So you can look at that on our website under the course that you'd like to be enrolled for. If you click on the unit code, it will actually give you the outline of the unit and tell you what types of, it should tell you what type of software will be used for that unit if need be. Okay, we move on to fees and payments. Now, this is a little different for if we have students who are considering joining us on campus. So if you have thoughts about becoming an on-campus student, you can do so here in Perth or in our Melbourne campus. Reach out to the course advisors and book a time to chat about becoming an on-campus student, because that requires a bit more application information, because if you're not in Australia, you would be an international student, which means that you would have to look at chatting to a migration agent about visa related information. But with regards to fees for online students, if you study in the online mode, your fees will be issued about a month and a half or so before the next study period, or before the upcoming study period. And that'll be, the cost will be dependent on what, or the amount, I should say, of units that you take, so being one or two. If you want to look at the unit cost, you can do so on our website. It should just put in your country that you reside, and it'll give you your unit cost. So if you do 2 units a study period, it'll give you how much it'll cost you for 2 units in a study period. You will need to pay your invoice, or part of your invoice, at the beginning of each study period. You can do that by credit card, or you can direct deposit by EFT, and that you'll need that to confirm your enrolment for the study period. So as a higher education institution, we have to report to the governing bodies of all the financial students. So unfortunately, if you don't make any payments at all by our cutoff date, then unfortunately we'll have to place you on a leave of absence, or put you on an enforced break until the next study period. So it's really important that you start managing your finances in advance, so that you can ensure that your invoice is paid on time. So the other options you have, which you can note on your letter of offer when you get that eventually and accept it, is you can pay installments by credit card, and that's by credit card only. So that'll get split over 3 months each study period, and it'll just be directly taken off your credit card. Or if we have any Australian students, you may be eligible for fee help. Fee help is a government supported payment for your course. So you can certainly look into that as an option. But if you are looking to be an on-campus student, effectively you would have to pay your invoice in full before the cut-off date of the study period to ensure you're meeting the requirements of your visa. Now, with regards to scholarships, like any other institute or university, there are scholarships available to eligible students. So head to that website and look at our scholarships for master or postgraduate, I should say, postgraduate students. It'll give you a range of options there that you can review and apply for should you be successful with your application to EIT. So it's really important. It gives you the eligibility criteria, so make sure you read that. And also, if it's an ongoing scholarship, it'll also tell you what you'll need to achieve each study period potentially to ensure your scholarship rolls on. But make sure you, obviously check those out if you're interested in applying for a scholarship. We now bring in our current student, our current Master of Engineering student, Hermanus. Hermanus, as you can see there, has done a fair bit with EIT, starting with the Advanced Diploma in 2017 and then moving on to the Bachelor of Science, which he completed last year. And then because he loves us so much, he's gone on to his Master of Engineering, which he started earlier this year. So Hermanus, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Good day, everyone. Thank you for having me on this very important open day, so I can just share with some of the prospects, the prospecting students, about my journey with EIT so far. So, of course, like Jason mentioned, my name is Hermanus Kols. I live in a very small country in Namibia, just for those that doesn't know, just on top of South Africa. My current career is I'm a control and instrument supervisor. So I oversee the control function and the instrument function for the mine. Studied quite a number of courses. Started back in 2017 with the advanced diploma. Continued on, short break in between, and then continued on with my bachelor's. And then I thought, why stopping? I'm already into the momentum of getting things done, so let's continue and get the master's as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Hermanus. Let's go to the next slide and we'll throw some questions at you. We can see some great photos of you there in the industry. Do you want to run us through some of those photos?
Yeah, so a couple of these was actual troubleshooting stuff that we were doing on that specific where I have that laptop and that VSD. I was actually setting up Modbus communication. So the good thing was that I actually had my slides there as well from the industrial communication part that I was taught at EIT. So it actually helped me, to set up the drive quite easily and configure it so we can install it back in the plant.
Oh, awesome! That's brilliant. It gives a nice little connection there with EIT and obviously your industry. That's brilliant. All right, let's throw some questions at you. All right, well, you've been at EIT since 2017. Why did you choose EIT all those years ago?
Yeah, so thank you for that question. So I think it started off back in early 2017. I knew that I needed to do something, and I was actually looking for certain things, because I've contacted a lot of universities and I actually spoke to them, whether I should rather stop working and go and study, but that doesn't work for me, because I'm a family man. So I was looking at some online programs, and then I thought that it needs to be online, it needs to be accredited, it needs to be flexible. So I stumbled on EIT's website and I quickly filled in information. The next day, the course advisor phoned me back, and then I think I made it without thinking much, because they answered all my questions, and then I said, okay, please share with me what I need to do to get onto this course, the advanced diploma back then, and then I've started off. So that was the reason why I've chosen EIT. It's the flexibility within the programs. So like Jason mentioned, you can actually talk to your LSO, when you have a bit of trouble, mixing work, family, school. You can actually, slow that down, or you can speed that up. Depends on, what your flexibility is with time and in what state of your life you are at the time. The courses are industry oriented, and that's why I put those pictures in there, so I can actually show the students that it's not just stuff that you learn. It's stuff that you can actually take and go and implement immediately in your workplace. So the courses are designed around industry needs. The lectures, they are awesome. Very, very knowledgeable lecturers. They're also working professionals, so they can actually relate to your problem. It's not like just a normal academic lecturer standing in front of, they don't have any experience with work and stuff. It's just a normal academic. So these lectures, they're very insightful. They're very, very helpful as well. You can actually talk to them about problems. Also, the other reason was the large scope. You're not limited to just industrial automation. So if I want to quickly, bring up my skills in electrical engineering or mechanical engineering, I can quickly go to a graduate diploma or graduate certificate and do a short course, so I can get that knowledge to actually go and do that in my work. So that sort of drives it as well. We know that EIT is growing. So if we look at portfolio 5 years back and where EIT is now, we can see that, they keep up with the industry. So they're bringing in all those nice courses, quick 3 months course, then you get, more knowledge that you can actually go back and apply. And then EIT is accredited, so it's an international qualification that you can get. You can go work anywhere in the world without any objections and problems. You can just go ahead and get a job.
No, brilliant. Look, you've touched on this a little bit with the live tutorials, but how have you found online learning as a whole?
Well, it's quite nice because with the pre-records, what I would normally do is whenever I do have some free time, I can watch that, in the comfort of my house. Whenever there's a live tutorial, what would normally happen is that if you cannot attend it, then you can always go back to the recording, and then you do like a summary, and then you can just send it in to prove that you have been at the course. It's very, very, very insightful, especially the pre-recordings. They tend to go into very good detail, and you can always, reference, go back. Unlike, traditional learnings where the lecture stands in front of the board, you can always go back to your recording and just go and recapture the learnings that you may have, forgotten. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Oh, it's great to hear. Really great to hear. Let's go back to obviously when you started in 2017. Tell us, your career progression from that point once you started working through the advanced diploma up until obviously now in the Master of Engineering course.
Yeah. So like I pointed out, let me just get my notes here. So when I look back, when I started off, you know how to do the work, but there's always that knowledge gap of what did you do to actually get it going. So with EIT, my confidence in my area of expertise went up, radically. So I can now confidently go to anyone and have a very deep technical discussion, because I am now at that level where I actually understand how things works, because I've got all that theory, and I've got all that, that knowledge from the course that I've been doing, including the softwares that we use to simulate things, without, just say, no, it can work. We can actually prove that it can work through them demonstrating with the different softwares that we've learned through the time. So my confidence level obviously went up. With the engineering challenges as well, sometimes you sit with a complex problem, and then you just take one step back and say, okay, let me think of stuff that I've learned throughout my course. How can I, fragment it or segment this into much smaller sort of ways of getting to my solution. So then I would use the tools in the knowledge that I've gained throughout the years, and then it becomes like a hobby, of course, when you work with complex problems, because you can actually reason the things out and find a solution. Some of the courses that I've been doing, like professional engineering management, improved my leadership skills, because the effectiveness of communications, the working with people, working with different cultures. That was one of the courses that I found most insightful, because in that you realize that you actually do have, as a leader, have a lot of gaps. That you think you communicate something to a person, and that you just assume that he understands what you're telling him. So we've learned tools in that, how to effectively communicate and managing complexity. It improved my critical thinking skills as well. So you just take it a bit slower, and you think about the problem at hand, and then you sort of reason that problem, and you apply the what, the how, and when sort of critical questions, and then you sort of get to the answer, or to a possible root cause of how you want to address the solution and make it stick. Yeah, then of course, with it also, I've landed a few jobs, some requests, also on LinkedIn, people that actually want to, have a discussion about possible employments. So yeah, of course, very, very, very much helped me with my career as well.
Brilliant. It's brilliant to hear. Probably the best part for me is to hear the confidence that you gained from obviously the knowledge you learned, and then obviously, then transferring that into your workplace, and then being able to have those more technical conversations because you knew it, you learned it, you're putting it into practice. So fantastic. Look, brilliant. Thank you so much, Hermanus, for joining us in this session. Students, our prospective students can see that you're not just doing the master as a one-off. You've actually come through the system, so to speak, with EIT, and it's not just a one-off course. It's a continuous thing for you, which is absolutely brilliant. We love to see people, obviously continue on their study should they wish. So thank you so much for your time and joining this session and giving us some fantastic insight.
100%. Thank you, Jason. Yeah, just a word of caution for some of the students. EIT is very, very addicted. So once you start studying, you cannot stop.
Brilliant. It's great to hear. Thank you so much, Hermanus. I really appreciate it. Okay, the next slide we'll go to, everyone, is to get some feedback from you. So if you want to grab your phone and take a photo, or click on the QR code on the screen, or if you want to click on the survey link, which Lisa has just put in the chat box, we'd love to hear your feedback. It's a little short survey, and in completing the survey, you'll go into the prize draw for the open week, which will be announced after the end of the open week. So I'll give you a little bit of time now just to grab your phone and scan the link and complete that little survey, and obviously put yourself in a draw for a nice little prize. Okay, we'll move on to if you have any questions, and please note that, look, if you don't have any questions now, that's completely fine. You can reach out to our course advisors and ask questions at a later point. That's no problem at all. I've just seen one back up the chat from Frank. I think Lisa might have just answered that one for you, so that's great. Thank you for that. I think Stanley might have just left the room, so Lisa might be able to get him when he returns to the room. But were there any other questions from anyone that you'd like to know? Yeah, good question, Hanani. There are deadlines. The term one study period basically begins the first working day of 2024. So the cutoff will probably be, I can't remember off the top of my head what the actual date is, but it'll probably be obviously mid-December, being that there will be a Christmas shutdown period as well. So yeah, look, if you're looking to apply, then I would suggest try to do that. Start your application now and at least get it in, and then look if it's getting too much, or it just gives our admissions team time to assess it. So the earlier the better is probably best in regards to applications, so that we can assess it, and then if you're successful, obviously provide you information to be able to get you part of the orientation week in the first week of January. Yeah, sure. Fire away, Faisal. I don't think we have that option with the attendees. I'm not sure. Lisa, can you just confirm if the attendees are able to use their microphone? They might not be able to.
Hi, Faisal. Um, yeah, we usually just, I'll let you type in, but let me see if I can do that for you, okay?
If not, that's fine. You maybe it might be good to schedule a call with one of the course advisors, and then that way you might be able to go through then. I would say on the link to join, it may have already been disabled. But if you so you can't study two courses concurrently, unfortunately. So it'll be one course at a time. So if you want to be able to study one of those first and then apply to go to the other, then that'll be the way. It's purely from a loading point of view. So it's not it's unfair to be able to ask you to complete what would effectively be 4 units or maximum of 4 units in a study period. It's just, yeah, it's better to do one at a time, and unfortunately we don't allow students to be in concurrent, be in courses, two courses at the same time. Antonio, so the payment date for the January course is the due date is normally the Friday of topic 1. So I'm not sure what that date is off the top of my head. But look, if you can make payment by the let's say the end of the first week of January, that'll make sure that you're all sorted and ready to go for when the teaching week starts. I think I saw another question. Yeah, Faisal, there's no, there would be probably 2 units or maybe 3 units that overlap, and they're the core. That would be the core units across all 4 masters, but that would be all. Sorry, I'm just trying to get back up to the questions as they come through. Najeeba, the intake times for international students. So the study periods for international students studying on the campus are February. It's a February intake and a July intake. So there is a bit longer, but yeah, I would suggest, yeah, if you're looking to study on campus, then and you haven't spoken to one of our team, it might be good to chat to them straight away. We again, we wouldn't find you work during your masters. So if you're already working in the industry, that's great. You can obviously continue to do that, but we wouldn't find you the work itself, unfortunately. Alebu, I think you might have to look at Lisa's message earlier. We don't have a biomedical engineering master course, but that's not saying you may not be able to apply for the other courses. So I might get Lisa to send you some information.
Yeah. Um, they can. I think it's best if they would book a call with a course advisor, or they can send us an email. Let me
Sure.
just post it again. If you would like, you can book a call with a course advisor. But if you're not comfortable, you can just um, send an email to um, webinars@eit.edu if you have more questions. And I can go ahead and send you the details that you need depending on the case. But you know what? For um, questions that may need a lot of explanation and may need a lot of checking with some background information, it's best to speak with a course advisor so that you would be guided accordingly.
Awesome. Thanks,
Thank you,
Lisa.
Faisal. Thank you.
I've just seen a couple of other small ones up there. Patrick, yes, we could give you a well, the actual course total is on our website. I think it gives you the 3 credit point course, the 12 credit point course, and I think it gives you the total for the whole course as well, depending on the country you're in. If you're needing that for a sponsor or an employer, we can look to provide you that information as well. But it's important to note that if you it would be subject to successfully passing the units. Unfortunately, if you're not successful in passing a unit, you would have to repeat and pay for the unit again, unfortunately. So sometimes a quotation is not, we're not able to give that in the best way, I guess, because obviously it's dependent on how you go during the course. Maurice, yeah, look, it's a good question. We try to run them each study period. It it does depend sometimes on the um, enrolled students in those units. However, it is rare that there are units not running because of low enrollment numbers. So yes, we would be trying to run those units every time they are available in the course schedule. Again, if you're referring to trade assistant opportunities, unfortunately, we don't offer trade assistant opportunities. Teaching assistant? No, we wouldn't offer those either, unfortunately. It's definitely not for our master course. For our doctorate course, there is an application to be a teaching assistant, but not for the master course. Sorry. Okay, we might wrap it up there. As Lisa mentioned, there are a couple of options to send an email through any questions, or you can book a call with a course advisor. So please do so if you do have any more further. But look, thank you very much for joining myself today and Hermanus. Look, hoping that you can join us in the future. But like I mentioned, and I revert back to, control your learning and make sure you understand everything that you need to with regards to our course at EIT, so you're well prepared should you choose to enroll and be successful with your enrollment. Thank you very much, everyone. I wish you all the best.